Welcome to Apaga University. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie. We are two
momtrepreneurs
who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love.
16 years later and over 100 podcast episodes already under our belts, we invite you to continue on this journey with us as we share stories that resonate, insights that inspire, and practical guidance that empowers you to face any obstacle along this path.
Whether you're a professional caregiver, a family member, or are simply curious about what your steps will be when you need them, you have come to the right place.
Oh, hey, and while you're here, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And after that, make sure you send this to a friend.
Yes, do it. All right, we'll quit fooling around and get to it.
Let's go. Class is in session.
Hello, Sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you? Were you messing around a little bit?
Getting
organized.
Thank you very much.
Did you really just push your glasses up with your microphone?
Well, she said I couldn't move my hands, so now I'm adjusting it as necessary.
I love that. That is very, what is the word? Like resourceful. You can't use your hands
and
to...
skillful and all of the things.
Yes, very good.
Yes.
And that is definitely your microphone.
Yeah, because I've slobbered on it.
Yes. All the things.
All of the things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, what's new? Haven't seen you in a while.
New? I know.
Now that
know.
I work from home.
These stupid glasses are giving me vertigo. No, it's springtime, but we woke up to snow.
Yeah.
So
I know.
That was bad.
I know. Well, yesterday when I left the office, I call you and say like, it's snowing.
You did. You're like, what is that white stuff?
Yeah, and the day before it had been like 70, or maybe that day, maybe it had already been 70 yesterday.
I know.
And then
Mother
turned into
Nature is
snow.
just a touch bipolar this,
Yeah.
as always, as every spring.
The wind has been really bad at our house. Has it been bad for you?
I don't like the wind. Not super bad,
know.
no. But we are across the valley from each other.
True.
Mm.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it then. We're all caught up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's lonely working at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically I'm working from the table now because of the smoke situation in our office. And Bailey, her print shop is in the basement here, but we've decided that we work better not together. Like I can work with my husband, but I just don't think Bailey and I could. She's like, at one point she told me, I thought you were going to be out of sight, out of mind. Like, go away, please.
Well, I don't even know
busy.
how you, when Sammy worked in the office forever, I don't know how you did it.
I don't know.
Because I couldn't work with my kids like that close.
I do feel bad for Sammy though, because I had a very, very high expectation of her and I was not afraid to tell her that on a regular basis. But I will say with all sincerity, she comments almost weekly on how thankful she is for the opportunity to have worked in the office with us because it just prepared her, to be in other situations.
If it's bad there, she just knows she doesn't want to come back to us.
Yes. No, it's really cool because I get such a good feeling when she talks about things that go on, with working in different places that she's been and how she will almost, I don't want to say compare, but she will compare their situation with our situation and like management styles. And
wow.
Even though, when she got her butt chewed as an employee more than any other employee ever, which is probably unfair on my part, but she still really, 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 really thinks highly of how she came up through our office.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, actually my daughter the other day was like, well, it's your fault I have a work ethic.
Dang you, Julie Brubaker. Yeah, true story.
Oh.
It's good though. It's good. I'm glad. And Callie now is working with us as a life coach.
Very
that is so exciting. All of our kids have worked in some capacity.
Yeah.
Bailey, she likes to do the like back end computer work stuff. And Sammy's so great at interfacing. Your Bailey has done caregiving for us.
Yeah.
And now Callie is just crushing it.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, a stepping stone for sure.
Yes, indeedy. Cool. Okay. Well, the verse, this is Job chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. And it says, but ask the beasts and they will teach you, the birds of the heaven and they will tell you, or the bushes of the earth and they will teach you, and the fish of the sea will declare to you. Who among all these does not know that the land of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of all mankind.
Pretty good one, huh?
I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, today we're going to be talking about emotional support animals and service dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's a dog.
Right.
And so I was just looking for a beautiful verse that talked about animals.
Oh,
Nailed it.
nailed it.
Yep. Yep.
And just knowing that the breath of all mankind.
It's all
Cool.
good.
All right.
Yep.
Well, start us off, Jules. Oh, wait. Good news story.
Yes.
Who am I?
I don't know. Yeah. You're out of the office for one day and you're just gone rogue.
Apparently so. It's only been this same format for 150 previous episodes, which, by the way, Kevin had to make a haul the other day, and he listened to our podcast episodes the entire way, and it was probably, I don't know, maybe
That
4
poor
hours
guy.
of driving. He was just like, I really cannot believe the things that you two pop off with. And he also said, one day I just need to come and put a chair there so I can just watch Alyssa's face, because I cannot even believe the things.
Always said she had to have a camera on her.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Well, it's all you, though. Come on. Pull it together, Blake.
It's true. All right, go ahead. What is your good news story?
Good news story. Since we're going to be talking mostly about puppy dogs today, I found the cutest story about a dog that flunked out of police academy, but then became a hero in Taiwan's earthquake response. So even puppies misbehave. To be a drug-sniffing dog, you have to be impassionate, which is exactly what this golden retriever was not. Roger flunked out of police academy in Taiwan. His career in public service was not over, though, and has now captured the hearts of his people with his rescue efforts during Taiwan's recent earthquake. It was a magnitude 7.5, and it caused landslides. It was terrible. 8-year-old Roger was quickly deployed to the area where he was supposed to look for a 21-year-old victim that they hadn't yet found. And basically, the good thing is that he was able to find the young man. But prior to this, it says, I'm not saying he was not good or that he didn't get along with others, but the requirement for narcotic detection dogs is that they can't seem too restless and independent. But Roger was all of those, and he just could never behave. He just had the wiggles and the giggles. And so anyway, he has participated in 7 rescue organizations throughout his career, which includes being certified as an international rescue dog. But he will be retiring very, very soon.
Roger.
And so he will have a wonderful home suitable for an active, precocious dog like him. But before he puts his paws up for his golden years, one family will have the closure of laying a loved one to rest because of his excellent nose and personality.
Oh, good job, Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
It's the concept of there's a butt for every seat, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Roger just needed to be in the right seat.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I am bringing one, and I it's not always good news stories, but sometimes I run across these things and it's just like, it just really hits you. It's very impactful. And it's like, this is just really good, solid advice, if you will. It turns out that it was shared on Facebook by one of Bailey's old classmates from high school. And she shared it from an individual named Paige Champagne. And when we get to the end, I hope anyway, that I'll be able to tell you the name of the person that wrote it, if you can believe Facebook. So, take that for what it is.
It's on the internet. It must be real.
It has to be, I guess, right? Okay, so basically it says, are you familiar with the let them theory? I'll tell you, friends, the more I grow, the more I am okay with accepting the let them in my own life and relationships. This is something that took me a very long time to learn. I used to tolerate a lot because I didn't want to lose people, but I learned the hard way. If they were really my people, they would never treat me like that. Don't make the mistake of being so understanding and forgiving that you overlook the fact that you are being repeatedly disrespected. Let them be upset. Let them judge you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them gossip about you. Let them ignore you. Let them be right. Let them doubt you. Let them not like you. Let them not speak to you. Let them run your name into the ground. Whatever it is that people want to say about you, let them. Kindly step aside and let them. The hard truth is they know how much they are hurting you, and they just simply don't care. They did it knowing it could cause them to lose you, and they did it anyway. People that love you care about how they make you feel. The end. Let them go. There will be people that would rather lose you than be honest about what they've done to you. Let them go. The lack of respect was the closure. The lack of apology was the closure. The lack of care was the closure. The lack of accountability was the closure. The lack of honesty was the closure. Let them go. Make the decision to no longer sit at tables where you might be the topic when you get up. Let them go. You can still be kind. You can even still love them deeply, but do it from the distance they created in their words and actions. Access to you is a privilege they have proven they can't be trusted with. Let them go. You don't need to tell your side of the story. God already knows. Let God fight the battle for you. Let them go. It's taken me a long time to get here. Sleepless nights, countless tears, managing a range of emotions filled with anger, disappointment, confusion, and deep hurt. Lots of self-reflection, self-preservation, deep prayer, and seeking wisdom from those much wiser than me. If you are struggling with this, please know you are not alone. We will never understand why people hurt people, but we can do the hard work to grow ourselves, because healed people do in fact heal people. Don't you dare let them steal your joy. Don't you dare let them steal your light. Don't you dare let them steal your peace. You are in control of that. Hold tight to what you can control and release your grip on what you can't control. Let them go. Dawn Hampton.
Love that.
It's crazy, because as you see relationships, and we see this just with kids, but all the way up through adults, and even into, the demographic that we are working with primarily.
Right.
It's like you have to be at peace with letting people go, because you can't drive yourself crazy trying to really make sense of things that don't make sense. And some people just, they might be in your circle, but they're not necessarily in your corner.
Right.
You got to let it go and not dwell on that stuff. And I don't know.
The sooner you learn it, the sooner you're happier.
So
yeah. What
true.
was it? Healed people heal people.
Yes. Yep.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yep. Yeah. So let them go. If it's nothing but causing stress and grief and anxiety and worry, just let them go.
Let it go.
And don't worry about it.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. No, is that the song?
I think so. It's from Frozen.
Yes. See, I
Anyway,
sang that. For
sorry,
them.
that was a lot heavier than Roger.
Roger.
Good job, Roger.
It's all right. We're a balance. We've always been.
This is true. Coolio. All right. Well, if you guys have a verse or a story or some sort of guidance, or yes, like you're saying, a topic, things you want us to talk about, please send those. You can email to julie@ipagahomecare.com or inga@ipagahomecare.com.
Yep.
And please make sure that you are subscribing to our podcast. You can do it on like YouTube or anywhere that you listen, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts.
Yep.
Yeah. Go do it.
Do it. We love that.
We
so
love it.
much.
And we just
love
want
having that.
We want to be out there. We want more people to be able to get, just jump onto the podcast and search for the topic that might help them that day.
It's true. Actually, sorry, I just interrupted you. But we never know when we're going to get inspiration for a topic or a verse. I was at church on Sunday, and the verse of the day was so lovely. I actually got out my phone and took a picture of it, and I'll be using it soon.
Nice.
Because I was like, this is one that everybody needs to hear.
Yeah.
And so that was my inspiration that day.
I love it.
And
yeah, if you have a Julie moment and you get inspired by that verse.
Yep. It's that,
yes.
And you're like, boom, I got to tell
That's the one.
Inga and Julie.
Please.
We're here.
Do it. All right. We are going to be talking about service dogs and emotional support dogs.
There's a difference.
Yes.
I did not know that.
I think I did, but I don't know to what extent.
Well, and the other thing that I learned as I'm previewing all of this is that 99% of them are probably dogs.
Right.
But there's actually other animals.
Yes. I think a friend of mine's daughter is going to college, and I think she has birds that are emotional support.
So what, she has a parrot on her shoulder when she walks around?
No,
that
I don't
whispers
think
to
so.
her?
I think just in her dorm room.
Cute.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If I remember the story straight.
I've had multiple people send me things about people that literally have come to the farm and hug cows.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's goat yoga.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do that one day.
And actually, you get a lot of your therapy from coming home to your sheps.
Yep.
And then I go home and look at those cows and go, well, they're not cute and cuddly, but they're kind of,
but they kind of are.
But they're there. So anyway, it's funny where you can get that soothing feeling.
Yeah.
So
the barn cats are really doing it for me right now.
really,
They really are.
Oh.
I get a lot of joy from them. I'm not sure that they get a lot of joy from me because I'm like a small child. I just want to pick them up and hug them and snuggie up them and
they
love
have
all
gotten
over 'em.
so big since the last time I saw them.
I know.
I
They're
hardly
they're
even
very
recognized them.
very well fed.
As am I.
Same. All right. Talk to us about emotional support animals.
Okay. So there is so much out there on the internet for this and so many different groups because you have to actually even register your animal. And one of our caregivers just got into a new apartment and she wanted to take her dog and she had one dog and I think that was like what you could take. They had a second dog and what they recommended is just get this one registered as emotional support or whatever, and then it could go with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, this is interesting. There's a lot of nuances.
So I wonder, and we'll probably learn this, but basically probably then there has to be a doctor involved in it.
Yep.
Some type of a diagnosis for the individual.
Exactly
that
right.
They need the emotional support animal. Interesting.
So anyway, if you have an emotional or a psychological condition, an emotional support animal can be a great therapeutic option for you. The presence of comforting animals has been proven to enhance dopamine levels. This means that keeping a furry friend at your side will decrease anxiety and stabilize your emotions. And so that's why it's a major asset, right? While they can be a great source of support, dealing with the logistics of having these animals can be tricky at times. There's a lot of confusion about the difference between emotional support animals and service dogs. I did not know that till I started researching this because I was like, a dog. You've got emotional stuff going on. Same thing. It ain't.
Yeah, no. My vision is that service dogs are more... I don't want to just a different purpose, like with different types of diagnosis, not necessarily just mental health.
Right, right. As well as which places where emotional support animals can access to legally. And so that's where we're going to go. So who needs emotional support animals? And so basically, these are animals that have been prescribed by a licensed mental health care worker to offer emotional support. While they are different from service dogs, they are recognized in the U.S. By federal law.
Oh, wow.
Although service animals are limited to particular types of animals and breeds, a wide range of animals can be considered emotional support animals. These emotional support animals are used to treat issues like depression, anxiety, phobias, and other emotional or psychological conditions. So the emotional support is more of the mental side. Then there's the health side, epilepsy, blood sugars, all of those different things. Remember that little gal that used to go to 4-H camp that took her dog?
Yes.
So I think hers was seizures. So,
yeah. Well, basically, so conditions that qualify for an emotional support animal, these would be things, anyone diagnosed with mental or emotional disorder will likely qualify for an emotional support animal, and if this disorder is included, but not limited to. So addiction recovery, anxiety, autism, bipolar disorder, depression, eating and mood disorders, neurocognitive disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, post-traumatic stress, schizophrenia, social anxiety, and phobias.
Wow.
Think about all the times that 4-H would take animals into like the nursing homes.
Right.
And just that calming. I've even seen stuffed animals that are basically like a real animal. They will even purr and, you know, for like Alzheimer's and dementia, those are really, really good tools. Assuming that the person, you know, doesn't have a fear of cats or dogs or something.
Well, and I do like those better because those ones don't poop.
Right. And
or eat.
I always said nothing that poops in the house. And then Tuna lives at the office, and then Tuna had to come and live here for a little while. But she was very, very good. She was a good girl.
Is she?
You know, she was here because she just lived in the cupboard where we keep the towels, and she just kind of lived there for like 5 days. Only one time in the middle of the night did she come and jump on the bed and scare the bejesus out of both me and Kevin. But yeah.
So it's interesting. So just speaking about the caregiver that has this extra dog in their house, basically it falls under the Fair Housing Amendments Act.
And in other words, if the property has no pet policy, they must make reasonable accommodations for emotional support animals. This applies to most public housing, college dorms, or even other long-term accommodation. That's where I think that you'll see the house kitty or the house dog at the nursing home.
Yeah.
That's probably how they get away with that.
Yeah.
Because they're actually just staying in compliance of ADA.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well, and you're seeing more and more and more, even like locally apartment complexes that are building dog parks within. And I think it's becoming a much bigger.
Well, so when Callie moved to Arizona, like the apartment building she went in had 3 dog parks. Here it's not as much, it's slowly coming, but like the place that she has now, she could take her dog for another $100 a month,
right?
But there's no dog park or anything,
right?
And so it was like, it's not even worth it, you know. Now I get to keep the dog. That's another story.
Lucky ducky.
But anyway, it's slowly coming, but they, you know, the biggest thing is just, you know, our property, right, that was by the motel will probably have a decrease in this, but people would always see our big, beautiful lawn and think, oh, that looks like a proper toilet for my dog.
Yes.
I was so mad because people just don't always take care of their crap, literally.
I'm also surprised at the number of people that do walk around with
little
a sack of dog poop.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, our little yard there is quite the litter box for everything.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, those pooping animals.
Yep.
So while reasonable accommodation must be made for someone with a disability or disorder, there are some exceptions in certain areas. For instance, a private club does not need to accept emotional support dogs. Likewise, in some places, a building with 4 or fewer rental units that is landlord occupied does not need to accept emotional support dogs, nor does a single family home that is rented without a real estate broker. See, again, I'm sure it's state to state.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, I don't like going to a restaurant when there's a big animal sitting right next to me where I'm going to be served food. And I know that that's terrible, and I just said it out loud. But when I'm in a restaurant, there are people that I know that they have multiple animals in their house, and I don't want to eat there.
Because you're just worried about how is it taken care of.
And I'm one of those that living on the ranch, you never know what anything's going to have on their paws or their feet, so they just don't come in the house.
Right.
So that's probably my bias right there.
Right.
But, as you know, and I try to look the other way because they're very well behaved. Mm-hmm. But still, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to get dander.
I'm going to get dander. Trust me.
In my spaghetti.
You deal with a lot worse just when you're with your own flatulence.
I know. It makes no sense. It's nonsensical.
It is.
But it is my sense.
Yeah.
So there you go. That answers a lot of it.
So there's a question about Airbnbs. If you can stay with emotional support animals, they used to allow them on all of their properties, but unfortunately the policy has changed. And so there are specific states or jurisdictions where they are allowed to charge you a pet fee or even to refuse you to bring an emotional support animal at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's probably a situation where you just talk to the host, you know, about your certain situation and see.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is going to be a fun list to read. So types of emotional support animals, some of them, and this is not all of them, but hedgehogs, parrots, ferrets, rabbits, fish, lizards, mice, guinea pigs, rabbits, spiders, horses, snakes, cows, mini pigs, goats, sheep, and chickens. Is that crazy?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So basically dogs and cats, I think, are probably probably primarily
the go-tos.
Cats are in there. But there's a lot of different types of.
Well, my children went through a hedgehog phase.
Yes, I recall.
And let's just say they're not cute and cuddly. I mean, they're adorable, but they're not cuddly.
Right.
They are pokey and it's hard to hold them.
And don't they just roll up?
And they shit like an elephant.
I remember you talking about
I think I've talked about this before, but I'd say X-nay on the hedgehog A because no one tells you that they poop like that. It's very even.
Is it just unsettling?
Well, let me just tell you.
Oh, gosh.
So our little hedgehog, yes, our hedgehog had the cutest little ball that you put him in, and then he could just roll wherever,
right?
You know, and but then
That's all good and fine until he decides he has to poop.
Oh no.
And so he's just trucking around and he's just crapping. And pretty soon you can't see him because it's just slimed everywhere. And you know that's a hedgehog poo.
Oh my gosh. And then how do you wash a hedgehog?
Yeah, well, we just throw him in the tub and let him swim around for a while.
Oh, they're swimmers.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I don't know, but this one
but
was.
he did. There's no manual?
No.
So the most important thing to remember is that a specific animal that is good for one person might not be good for a different person.
There you be.
So registering your emotional support animal. So you want to make sure you get an official certificate for your emotional support animal and you register your emotional support dog. It's not legally required, but it does make life easier. So registering with U.S. Service Animals gives you a certificate that you can use to help provide additional proof to a suspicious landlord or nosy neighbor, or just have it with you in case someone wants to give you
Somebody's
grief.
calling BS on you.
Yes. But you want to make sure to watch out for registration scams, because where there's anything that people are trying to do good, there are going to be people that are trying to do bad. So if you are going to register your animal, you want to make sure that you keep your eyes open to scams. It's crucial to realize that getting registered with an emotional support animal shouldn't be too easy. If you can get instant approval without speaking over the phone or in person with a licensed mental health care worker, it's probably a scam. You should also be hesitant of any organization that claims that an emotional support animal registration is legally required, right? When they try to scare you into stuff,
Righto.
it's probably not it.
Righto.
Yeah. Okay, so does an emotional support animal need to wear a vest or ID? Legally speaking, it's not necessary to have a vest, a leash, tag, or collar for your emotional support animal. All you just need to have is a note from your licensed mental health care worker for your emotional support animal to be considered legally valid.
Mm-hmm.
However, to prevent confusion and disputes, it is often a good idea to have identifying information like a vest. By having the information visible, it clearly distinguishes your emotional support animal from a pet, and this can often prevent you from having to answer questions.
Oh, that makes sense.
They might just leave you alone if that's the case.
Right.
And then we go into the service animals versus emotional support. So if you're wondering about the difference between the two, there is the Americans with Disabilities Act. There's very clear definitions. So unlike an emotional support animal, a service animal can only be a dog, or in some cases, a miniature horse. That is the randomest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my goodness.
But the service animal must be trained to perform at least one task to help mitigate the symptoms of a diagnosed disability. And the types of tasks performed might include things such as retrieving your medication, calling for help, performing deep pressure therapy, stopping self-harming behaviors, waking you during a night terror, grounding you during a panic attack or flashback, guiding you to an exit or a safe space, orbiting to give you more personal space in a crowd, providing physical support during a dizzy spell or a panic attack. I've also heard that they, like people with diabetes, they can sense when the blood sugar changes or drops. Did all sorts of things.
That's simply amazing to me, because I have a younger dog at my house right now, and I can't even get the damn thing to sit.
No,
let alone orbit
never
me.
Gonna
so
make it.
Nothing. It's orbiting me so much that I'm tripping over it, and I'm just mad every time I have to feed it. And so thus the reason it's not getting trained real well.
Yeah.
You have to have patience for those things.
Yes.
But
and when you ask for patience, God gives you situations for you
have
to
this
practice
little
patience.
dog that's going, those are amazing animals.
Yeah.
I can't even get over it.
Service animals are granted more legal rights and protections than a standard companion or emotional support animal.
Huh.
While they have the same housing rights as an emotional support animal, being allowed in most pet-free housing, and exemption from breed or weight restrictions, pet fees, pet rent deposits, they also have public access rights. So this means that a service animal can accompany you almost anywhere in public as long as it does not interfere with the safety or function of the location.
Yes.
For instance, since a service dog may render an operating room unsterile, they may not be granted access there. Also means that a service animal can fly with you for free in a cabin or on an airplane. Keep in mind that if you qualify for an emotional support animal and you also qualify for a service animal, many people have to choose between one or the other. Mm-hmm. And for instance, you may choose to have a cat that you can snuggle with at home and an emotional support animal in addition to a service dog who can accompany you to work. So you could potentially have both things.
Huh.
Yeah. We know a family whose daughter has the, is it the bone breaking
Yes.
disease? And she has a service dog.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do for her?
I'm not sure. Maybe tries to prevent situations where she may get herself into trouble.
Well, and if she goes down and nobody's around,
yeah,
he might get help.
I'm not sure exactly what he does. I could probably never be trained as a service dog. I don't have the capacity, but
you couldn't serve as an animal.
I'm not smart enough to be trained to pay attention to all those things. Basically.
Okay.
Yes. I could not train a service dog, nor could I be trained as a service dog.
Same. Just same. But I also have to be the grumpy one here and say as in some cases, bottom line, things get overused and taken advantage of.
I would agree with that, because I do think there are cases where people just want to be able to have their animal with them in an apartment complex or whatever. And so then all of a sudden.
And here's me making a snotty another comment. Just because you think that thing is cute doesn't mean I have to.
You are just on it today. Just on one. No service dogs in the restaurant. Just because you think your dog's cute, I might think it's ugly.
I don't tell them, though.
I just go, not just them, the whole world.
Oh. Uh-huh. And then I walk away because I just don't. It's just who I am. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
So that one we're done with.
Oh, good. Perfect. You got your paperwork.
Now we're caught up.
Okay.
Good Lord, who organizes that one?
I don't know.
Not I.
Who knows? Well, not me, so I can't complain.
Yeah. So we're going to just buzz through this because I bet you we've covered a bunch of it. But basically from the ADA.gov, frequently asked questions about service animals and the ADA. Mm-hmm. So I think there will, so we've, what is a service animal? Defined as a dog that has been individually trained to work or perform tasks for an individual with a disability. Those are amazing animals.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What does to work or perform mean? And that's just that they have that specific action that they're there to do.
And, one thing to keep in mind, if you are out in the community and you see a service dog, understand that they are working. And so it's not a situation where you should even be trying to engage with that animal at all. It takes a lot of restraint from me because
people always want to say, oh, can I pet your dog? Mm-hmm. Oh, can I? Well, even when we're showing cows at the fair.
Yes.
Can I pet your cow? Well, you may get bowled over. So probably not a great idea.
Right.
But sometimes they get distracted or they don't like it. And I've seen a lot of people go, please don't touch my dog. Please don't touch my dog.
Yeah.
And it's just human nature to want to love on them. And except for me, I'm just like, yeah.
You're a big softie, though.
I'm not.
You put on a rough exterior, but are emotional support, therapy, comfort, and companion animals considered service animals under the ADA? No, they are not.
Yeah.
If someone's dog calms them when having an anxiety attack, does that qualify it as a service animal? It depends. So the ADA makes a distinction between psychiatric service animals and emotional support animals. If the dog has been trained to sense that an anxiety attack is about to happen and take a specific action to help avoid the attack or lessen its impact, that would qualify as a service animal. However, if the dog's mere presence provides comfort, that would not be considered a service animal under the ADA. Right. So I think there's a lot more involved in being able to prove service animal versus emotional support.
Exactly. Yeah, the service dog is truly a work dog, a work animal.
Yeah.
And that to me is simply amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So the interesting thing is, does the ADA require service animals to be professionally trained? And that's no. Which they have the right to train the animal themselves.
Which I mean, I think it's just going to depend on what the dog's purpose is, right? So if I have a specific need for a dog that I don't feel qualified to train it, then I'm gonna. But some of these dogs, even like when you think about the livestock guardians, their intuition and their ability to just know what they're supposed to do is incredible.
Yeah. No, incredible. Those like those animals and the working cattle dogs, it's bred into them.
Yeah.
But there's obviously still got to be some guidance, but pretty amazing. So general rules, what questions can be covered into these employees asked to determine if the dog is a service animal? In situations where it's not obvious that the dog is a service animal, staff may only ask 2 specific questions. Is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? What work or task has the dog been trained to perform? Staff are not allowed to request any documentation, require the dog to demonstrate its task, or inquire about the nature of the person's disability. Man, you got to be careful what you say to people.
Yeah. Do service animals have to wear a vest or a patch or special harness identifying them? No. The ADA does not require service animals to wear a vest, an ID tag, or any specific harness.
I'd appreciate them having one on,
Right.
so I know.
Well, I'm the can I pet that dog? That is me. Have you seen that video? Can I pet that dog?
pet your dog?
Can I pet that dog? Yeah, that's me. Me and my Sammy girl. We'll see a dog across the street and you just gravitate. You just yeah. It's like I'm learning. You can't just do that. Not everyone appreciates it. Same as hugging. I'm a hugger.
Yep.
So I want to hug everybody. But I was recently at a home visit and learned that the client, one of the biggest triggers for this particular client is being touched in any way. And I'm like, oh, I'm really glad I'm sitting way far away from you when you said this so that I didn't end up inadvertently.
Everybody is so different.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
Boundaries, man.
Yeah.
I should learn them.
Handlers are responsible for the care and supervision of the service dog. Can a person bring a service dog with them as they go through a salad bar? Okay, here we go. Go through a salad bar or other self-service food lines. Yes. See, gross me out. Golden Corral, you're done with.
I think there are other more grosser reasons. I'd rather have the dog there than the snotty little kid.
Oh,
that just sneezed all over all of the salads. Just my preference, but okay. Can hotels assign designated rooms for guests with service animals out of consideration for other guests? No. A guest with a disability who uses a service animal must be provided the same opportunity to reserve any available room. So basically, you can't discriminate on that.
Right.
Can hotels charge cleaning fees for guests who have service animals? No, they're not permitted to charge that. Can people bring more than one service animal into a public place? Generally speaking, yes. Some people with disabilities may use more than one service animal to perform different tasks. An example of that would be a person who has a visual disability and a seizure disorder. They may use one service animal to assist with wayfinding, and another that is trained to alert for seizures. So,
but then there's the problem that we have with one of our caregivers. She is deathly ill when it comes to being allergic to dogs.
Yeah. So
she can't even go to a client that has a dog.
Yeah.
So,
yep. I mean, and that's just then a scheduling thing for you to consider.
Hospitals have to allow an inpatient with a disability to keep a service animal in their room. Generally, yes. And anywhere else in the hospital, the public and patients are allowed to go. They cannot be excluded on the grounds that staff can provide the same services. And also, they can be allowed to ride in the ambulance. Does the ADA require that service animals be certified as service animals? No. If your city requires all vaccinations, yes, they still have to have all their vaccinations and that they are registered and licensed. It's not legal for the city to require me to register my dog as a service animal.
Oops, interesting.
City better get on their
basically,
ADA rules.
They can require you to register the dog, but they cannot require you to register it as a service animal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So can they be any breed? Yes. It does not restrict the type of dog that can be a service animal.
I think that comes into play. I've always heard a lot about pit bulls.
Yep.
That they're a concern. Our friends Mandy and Kelly, they were working in North Dakota years and years and years ago, and they have pit bulls, some of the nicest dogs I've ever met in my life. But I think there was like a rule or an ordinance or something there that they were not allowed, and they had to skedaddle, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
So I don't know if maybe that's changing, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does sound like the ADA is doing everything that it can to try to be accommodating in these situations. And I am a big proponent of service animals, service dogs.
My daughter went somewhere the other day for dinner, and it's a smaller town. It's a much smaller town. Anyway, there was this kitty cat,
I was just checking everybody out.
Oh gosh.
It was a bar, so it had the bar,
right,
bar side, and then the tables back where they were sitting was at the back. And pretty soon she looked up and that damn cat had gotten up onto the bar stool and they gave it a glass of water and it was drinking water right at the bar.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny, but still a little.
See, cats gross me out in that way because they
yes.
They use their feet I do not like cats on things, on surfaces.
Yeah.
And I know that bad tuna kitty at the office, she does get on the table. I don't think she gets on the counter. If she does, anytime I've ever seen her on anything.
Well, the only time she's ever had to get on the kitchen counter is when she refuses to go around to the door and we have to open the stupid window and she jumps down and gets.
She will sit out there for hours. I have on purpose, because I know, we have differing views of how to parent the cat. But anyway, I have literally let her sit out there for hours trying to channel my inner Julie. Like, okay, don't accommodate this cat. Do not open the window. She can go down. She can come through the door. Probably 5 hours. She'll sit there. Until she gets her way. Until she gets her way. She out-stubborns me, basically.
However, on the topic of Petunia, a.k.a. Tuna, she is, in essence, your animal support.
Oh, she is, man.
Because anytime she knows when you are triggered.
She does. She really does. And she will come and sit in she will ignore me all week long. But if I get on the phone, if I even pick up the phone to start dialing a number that I know it's going to be a fight, she is there. She's in my business. Like whenever we have to have meetings with maybe situations that aren't ideal, she will come and she will sit in my lap. So she's not registered, but she is 100% an emotional support animal for me.
Yeah. And she just gets in my way.
And I don't know. I don't even want to know what all of my diagnoses would be. So we're going to.
That would be a fun one. Let's be on a podcast and diagnose each other.
Oh, Lord.
And said no one ever. No, let's
thank
not.
you. Let's not.
So that is so much information on those animals because they're amazing. However, not
you just don't want them in your food.
I don't want them in my face. I don't want them in my food. I want them outside. So there. I do have a bunny.
Yeah, it's for somebody that kind of, grunts and groans and moans about
all the time
about all these animals, you have almost one of everything. And when anybody has a crisis and they need somewhere for an animal to go,
I did end up with 8 goats that one time.
I know, and chickens.
And that was your fault.
I
was like 16 chickens and 8 goats. Oh, sure.
I'll take them. I know. So then you just, you cringe about it and cry about it.
Yeah, that brings me to my old person saying.
Oh, good.
Yeah, bite the bullet.
Oh, I thought you were going to say bite me. Bite. Okay, no. Bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet. It means go through the pain and get on with it. So that's what I'm doing with you right now.
Oh. Fair enough.
The real meaning is that there was no such thing as pain relief or anesthesia in the 19th century. As a result, when soldiers were injured on the battlefield and needed treatment, they were given a bullet to bite down on to prevent them from screaming out loud.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, when you think about, okay, I just got to bite the bullet and do it. Something unpleasant.
Not that unpleasant. Holy shnikes. Wowzer.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've done all the damage we can do for today. So peace out, Girl Scouts.
I'm sure they learned something because I know I did.
Same. Later.
Have a good day.
The Caregiven name is a registered trademark of the Veritrust Health Incorporated Company. IPAGA is not connected to, affiliated with, or endorsed by Veritrust or any of its affiliates.